This is 6 years of research and development that I'm sharing with you. You're going to see how 6 years of research and development is put into practice to fine-tuning and perfecting this guide. Why each step was made, why each step exists. Everything you will find on my website is something that I have thoroughly tested in order to be certain that what I am offering is the best. It's easy to follow a step-by-step guide that you don't understand why each step exists. You can follow a recipe. It's like the difference between following a recipe and knowing how to cook. But once you know why each step exists, the level of understanding that you get makes sure that you can go deeper than just the surface level information that I give you. You can understand each tweak. Once you understand how something works, then you can make decisions for yourself. The understanding unlocks a totally new level of ability to tune your keyboard. You can follow a cake recipe, but if you understand how baking works, that cake's going to come out a whole lot better. So what do you do with these greases when there's a lubricant drought? And what do I mean a lubricant drought? Well, the existing guides had said use certain lubricants like Tribosis 3203, Tribosis 3204, Krytox 205 grade 0, and none of these were available. But you could buy 205 grade 2 and 105. I was using Superlube. I was using Superlube on the PCB. Now that's the biggest sin. Superlube deforms the domes. So I had to switch to a Krytox based grease, and I was using 205 grade 2 for a while until I decided I think it'd be a little bit better if it was a little bit thicker. It was probably the end of 2020. So I changed my guide, started using 205 grade 2 by December 2020 and updated it then. By February, I was using 206 grade 2. I'd convinced a down packer of lubricant to purchase some of that and put it in syringes for me. So I updated it then. I'm talking 9 different lubricant combinations, changing lubricant, like exploring. I created a switch tester. I laser cut some sheet metal and I created 4x4 square. That was the rows, and then the columns were 203, 204, 205, 206, obsessing over it until I landed on 205 grade 0, 1-to-1, and there's GHV4 was something that was being pushed for a while. It's like a 4th iteration on a 206 grade 2 mixture. Some like crazy ratio. It's like 13-to-7, like way more dialed in than I would have ever. And then there was G3 Lube, and then there was G3 Lube thinned. They were about the same viscosity. That could have been considered in place of the 205 grade 0. I tried XHT-BDZ. Someone even sells it in a syringe. The problem is it's reckless. There's no way you can control it. It sticks to everything, meaning it sticks to the syringe. It's like peanut butter or something. It just sticks to everything. It's way too thick. That's one of the things that I had mentioned about stabilizer bar grease. The 206 grade 2 was a honed in perfect lubricant. And XHT-BDZ was just, I guess, hyped. I had never ever used it until, I started getting boards in from people, and it's terrible. It sticks to everything and it just ruins it. And for the longest time, that was the standard. So at the time, I was loading up 205 grade 2, 205 grade 0, and 3203 in syringes. It was easy to do the 205 grade 2. I was buying it from Amazon. They come in a big tube. You just squeeze it in. It's like toothpaste. When I was the very first person to ever sell down pack in a syringe. Now it's everywhere. 206 grade 2 is the only one that I could put in a syringe, unfortunately, because it doesn't separate from any of its components. The other ones need to be mixed up. There are people doing things that they shouldn't be doing, like putting 205 grade 0 in a syringe. You know why? Because it sweats. I sell it in a syringe, but that's why I'm the only one who doesn't sell the other ones in syringes, even though I started the whole syringe thing. I wanted XHT-BDZ, and he said, no, you don't. I wanted them in a syringe, but he told me I couldn't have it. For years, I opted on fixing the spring crunch from the conical springs by lubing the PCB, a hill I had to stand on and defend. while it being memed on or outright rejected by the largest creators at the time. You've already bought 3203. You use that and apply it to the PCB. If you overdo it, you can just go back and you just have to remove the excess. And I made a video about the correct amount of thickness that should be used, because too thin and you don't achieve the results that you want, and too thick, the keys won't register. It's as simple as taking it off, wiping the excess down, and trying again. I was unable to eliminate the spring crunch with lubing the PCB, so I would have to lube the PCB and the springs, and then I thought maybe that was superfluous, so anytime I was lubricating those open top, I just used 105 oil. If I'm going to recommend something to someone for the first time, path of least resistance is absolutely the way to go. And I had to learn that. You cannot mess up 105 oil. You can absolutely saturate those springs, and now you remove all of the spring crunch. Everyone under-lubes the stabilizers, and everyone over-lubes their plastic part. It's just a matter of fact. I was doing things like shrink wrapping the stabilizer wires, Teflon wrapping them. Those don't make a difference. It was a matter of just understanding that more is more. I was afraid to overdo the amount of lubrication or grease that was going into the stabilizer bar, because I had this preconceived notion that more would negatively change the way that the key would feel. That is not the case. You have to maximize and fill the entire area where this metal bar acts on these plastic parts. Just that one simple addition, and now it's perfect. I removed some of the superfluous parts of the guide. One of the steps required a heat shrink tube on the stabilizer bars. When I noticed that it made no difference whether I used it or not, is when I took it out of the guide. That was definitely 2021. So 2022, by then, I had figured out exactly how to make those stabilizers bars perfect. A small brush may be nice for MX parts, but with Topre, you just use a larger brush, one large enough to fill that entire. Just like everything else, I R&D'd the tools that I use. You are ensuring the exact and precise amount every time. Everyone has a way of doing it, but as long as you can do that precisely in the correct amount, that's what you have to do. Someone decided to go out of their way to decide that the plate gasket was bad. Someone had a tool where they could measure the travel, and they posted a before and after that showed that my plate gasket reduced the travel by 0.25 millimeters. And that does not make logical sense. There's no way. This data that was posted that showed my plate gasket apparently significantly impacted the travel spread like wildfire, because this was a respected member of the community. And lo and behold, his test came back and showed that it reduced the travel by 0.05 millimeters. Less than a fraction of a human hair. They proved that my Topre gasket did not change the slider travel at all in like any negligible way. The deviation from 4 millimeters was less than 0.05 millimeters. Today, plate gaskets and their use have become standard. Every major EC keyboard store sells one. I didn't win that argument, time did. I started applying dry lube to sliders, and I should not have incorporated that as part of my services until I had done more thorough testing, because what was happening was the dry lube was not fully cured when I went to install them. I would let them cure for 48 hours per coat. So this was like a week-long process, and they still weren't fully cured. They typed fine when I tested them, but when they got to the client and they finally cured, they would stick. So there was like an actual like tackiness to the slider, and I had to fix all of those boards. I had to buy and rebuild 5 boards because the way that I allowed the RO59 to cure, it wasn't cured when I sent the board out, so it got cured like on the way there. And every key is like stick. I haven't touched dry lube since, but that's now like one of my main focuses is right alongside diamond polishing. I've purchased, it's a forced air oven that operates at low temperatures and it's very accurate. ABS melt at such a low temperature. Let me put a timeline on all of this. September 2020. I posted the guide on Reddit and GeekHack. Q4 2020. Open the storefront. Q4 2020. Source 206 grade 2 in pre-filled syringe applicators. 2 first in the mechanical keyboard scene. Q2, 3, and 4. 2023. Published 9 individual video guides to YouTube for each step and technique. Q2 2024. Perfected spacebar stabilizer bar tuning, ensuring a perfect board every time. Q1 2025. Changed the spring crunch fix from lubing the PCB to lubricating the springs with Krytox 105 oil. Q3 2025. Published the definitive Happy Hacking Keyboard Lube and Tune Guide on YouTube, a product of refinement and obsession to perfecting Topre keyboards. Today, Q2 2026. Still researching, still obsessing. This guide is free, always has been. unrealkeyboards.com.